Let's get my next guest out, ladies and gentlemen. He was the seducer in Dangerous Liaisons. He was himself, in a funny sort of way, in being John Malkovich. He was the only good thing in Johnny English. Will you please welcome the wonderful John Malkovich? John Malkovich. I'm a changing man. Wow. Hi. Listen, how lovely to have you here.
Thanks, my pleasure.
I'm a huge fan of yours. It's a delight to have you here.
Thank you.
I hope things are well with you. I know you're going through what may well be a stressful time because you're moving house at the moment.
Yes. We finished yesterday.
Okay, well, so you'll be moving, you were in France, is that correct?
I was in France many years, and we moved to Boston about 3 years ago, and we just moved house yesterday in Boston.
Well, that's a stressful thing to be doing, and at the same time, you've recently given up smoking, I understand.
Not so recently, and it's a kind of ongoing project. But,
okay.
6 months.
Is your temper faded? Do you find it difficult in that way? Because I understand when people give up smoking, that's often what happens.
Yeah. I think I got considerabably crabbier than I normally am, which I'm not very crabby normally.
So it wasn't too bad a thing for you then?
No, I'm okay.
Okay. Yeah. Do you try the patch or the chewing gum?
No.
Okay, so you just gave up cold turkey?
Cold turkey, yeah.
Well, that's a man, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the measure of a man. But you're still on the heroin, is that right?
That goes well.
Because that will take the edge off the cravings.
Yeah, yeah. It has a tendency to. Yeah.
We are joking here. Of course, we should point out for the feeble-minded who might be watching. What was it like being an American in France in the last few years? Because I went over to France shortly after the whole war broke out. And America invaded, and we went along with them, and the French said they were not going to do it, and the Americans got cross with that. I was even there at one stage, and they started calling French fries freedom fries as a kind of protest. And there was a real kind of like antagonistic thing going on. Did the French find you objectionable because you're an American, or did you indeed encounter friction because of that?
No, I can't. You know, I had a funny story. I did, there was a wonderful French writer called Jean-François Revel who wrote How Democracies Perish, and Without Marx or Jesus, and The Totalitarian Temptation, and on and on and on. Anyway,
I wish I could say I'd heard of any of those. I read mainly comics.
Yes.
Can I recommend The Ultimate Avengers at the moment? It's a tremendous book. Genuinely, it's a great read. But anyway, you're reading the other sort of stuff. And
but I did with him, he asked me to, I was directing a play in Paris, an English play by a very good English playwright called Terry Johnson, called Hysteria, about the meeting of Freud and Dali, which happened here after Freud escaped Austria.
I just say you were so a cut above our usual guests.
Yes.
I'm so impressed you've come on. God bless you, because we've just gone up several demographic points by having you here this evening, you know? We're now going to get people who read the bigger newspapers. Now, here's the thing. I've never had the pleasure of seeing you live on stage. I've heard that you are a dynamic stage performer, that as an actor you are, you know, incredible to watch on stage, but I very much enjoyed you in films. Is there a difference to you? Do you react differently to performing on stage in front of an audience, or...
Yeah, sure. Well, I would say the difference between theater acting and movie acting is that when I was a little boy, there were 2 or 3 television channels, and perhaps we were better for that. But when one woke up very, very early, where I grew up in the Midwest, in my little town, at about 5 or 6 a.m., there was a drawing show on, and the guy did line drawings, and it was a program to teach you how to draw. And I think that's what movie acting is like. You go, you have one day, you almost never go back to that scene. You sketch it out very, very quickly, and that's it.
It's a different kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's a different discipline.
Theater acting, you go back to it again and again and again, so it's a lot more like what a painter would do. You can go, you can readjust, you can start again, and so they're very different forms.
But exciting for you in different ways, I imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you consider as alternative careers? If your acting hadn't taken off, was it part of a game plan? Did you think this is what I want to do with my life, or did you kind of stumble into it?
I never thought that. I had an extremely successful job. I was a school bus driver for Solomon Schechter Day School, which I'm sure you're familiar with.
Very, very familiar.
And I also sold office supplies for Chandler's office supply store in Evanston, Illinois.
For a considerable period of time, or was this like a kind of small stopgap job?
No, Chandler's was about 3 years.
Wow.
The school bus thing didn't last as long as one might have hoped, but I feel like I could always go back to it.
Can I say something without you taking it the wrong way?
Yes, please.
You're quite a creepy kind of bloke.
Yes.
You can be. Yeah. I don't think I would want you driving a school bus.
Well, you're a parent, so, I mean, I think that's normal. And even the children once said to me that one little kid, I objected to a little boy on the school bus called Jonathan Friedman. I didn't object to him, but what Jonathan did to make money was he rented out Playboys and penthouses.
Well, that's the entrepreneurial American dream spirit.
Yeah, as our president said, the problem with the French is they don't have a word in their language for entrepreneur. Jonathan was an entrepreneur, and he rented out his Playboys and penthouses on the bus. And one day I had a debate with him just about, I thought it was kind of cheesy because he charged, I think it was 50 cents for a minute or something. And
that's not long enough, is it?
You know, there was a sort of time clock dispute, and et cetera, et cetera. And he once said to me, "Don't you understand why no one wants to sit at the front of the bus? Don't you get it?"
What a horrible little piece of work. So that didn't last then?
No, only a few months. Yeah.
So the office surprising, you did that for 3 years. Now, you were trying to make it as an actor at the time, or you thought that would maybe be it for you?
You know, it wouldn't have surprised me if it had been, and some may say they wish it would have been. But it wouldn't have surprised me, and I don't know how much it would have bothered me. I mean, we did our full-time day jobs, and then we went and did our theater at night, and it was tiring because 14-hour days are sometimes, but I wasn't unhappy doing it.
Let me ask you about some of your movies then, because you've made some movies which I think are just terrific. Some of my favourite movies in recent years. I love you in Dangerous Liaisons. I think that's an incredible movie. I hope you've seen John in that. It's a fabulous performance. It's the performance that makes the film, really.
I think.
But another movie which is really exceptional, Being John Malkovich. And here's quite something. Here's a film which is kind of loosely based on you in a weird sort of way, or the way you may well be perceived by some people. But basically, this guy is selling space for people to enter your head, essentially. John Malkovich acts, and people can go through a doorway and they wind up in John's head, and they see what he sees and feels what he feels for a little while, and then they get kicked out again. It's a very, and this is the moment when you enter your own head.
Yeah, they get spit out on the New Jersey Turnpike.
Have a look at this.
Oh, Mr. Malcolm, sir, with all due respect, I discovered that portal. I mean, it's my livelihood, do you understand?
It's my head, Schwartz. It's my head. I will see you in court.
What makes you think I won't be seeing what you're seeing in court?
Hey, Malkovich, think fast.
It's just a hilarious, and strange film.
That's a very funny thing about movie making, because I always love the end of that when they say, think fast, and I got hit in the head with a beer can. And when we were doing it that night, Spike said, Spike Jones, the director, said, you know, we got to cut this, we'll never be able to do it. And Johnny Cusack and I were sitting there and kind of said, why, no, we have to do that. And he said, no, we'll never find, I mean, who could go by, drive by in a car and hit you in the head with a can of beer, and like 60 people on the crew raised their hand, and that was the first take. Wham!
And how many takes did you wind up doing more than one, or was that was good enough?
One was fine.
I'm sure it was.
I felt okay about it.
But you've played so many kind of psycho nut jobs, and that seems to be something that I would think your name is pretty near the top of the list. When they want a real out-and-out, creepy, psycho, sleazy guy, your name would come up more often than not. Now, that's a tribute to your acting skills, I guess. What do you bring to the psycho role, do you think? Why is it that they come to you first?
I think the real reason why, it's a very strange reason, is the very first play I did in New York. When I first started in theater in Chicago, I always played the sort of poetic, haunted son, or the troubled sort of poet, but never someone kind of bad. And this play I did called True West, I played a sort of sociopath. And because that was the first play I did that went to New York, that was it. And when I did that play, it ran for months and had some degree of success in New York. But people would come to see the play 5 or 6 times, and so many directors, I mean, from Antonioni to David Putnam, the great English producer, to Mike Nichols or Scorsese, all these people came to see the plays, and no one would come backstage. They were all afraid.
Which is kind of a
that
good
I was
thing.
going to give them a flushie or a Kirby or I
What's a
don't know what.
flushie?
You put their head in the toilet and give it a flush.
What's a Kirby?
Kirby is you open their mouth and put their head on the curb and
You see,
stomp
I don't
on
even
it.
know. I don't even like you know these things. Now, here's the thing you wouldn't know about John, I think, and I hope I've got my facts right here. You're a fan of sewing. You like to sew in your spare time. Is this correct?
Yeah. I mean, not that I'm a particularly good sewer, but I certainly have done it, and I do a fashion line, which would be a big shock seeing as how I'm dressed today.
You are dressed rather like a fisherman this evening.
Slightly like a fisherman.
Not a bad
but
one.
a Norwegian fisherman.
Yes, certainly one of the
Out
Icelandic.
for herring.
Yeah. From the Straits of Bering. Functional, though, and comfortable, no doubt.
Yeah, good plain wear, yeah.
So when you sew garments, you sew items together, you repair clothes, or is it like needlepoint? Is it like tapestry? What kind of sewing is it?
I used to do needlepoint. I don't think I see so well anymore. But the last thing I personally sewed was I didn't like some buttons on a jacket of mine, so went through the button collection a few weeks ago and had to do those.
What button collection is this, John?
That would be my button
You have a little button
collection.
collection.
It's not that little.
You are a bit of a creepy aren't you? I mean, in a good way.
It's scary.
I think it's a good thing.
It's scary
You've got the,
stuff.
you're like the bloke in Silence of the Lambs. He puts his old man between the, puts the clacker up the Barnsley or whatever it's called. John, what a pleasure to see you. This Sunday here in the UK is Father's Day. I know you have it at a different time in the United States. You have 2 teenagers. Will you be seeing them this weekend, do you think?
They're coming. I'll go to France Sunday, and they'll come Monday, and they won't know it's Father's Day, and they'll give me, I don't know, an apple or a popsicle stick or something like that.
But that would be fine,
And
wouldn't
they'll
it?
go, you know, Happy Father's Day.
But is it lovely having teenagers? I have a teenage daughter, and she's a very, very nice person. I'm very lucky to have someone.
You know what? I feel incredibly blessed, and mine, knock on wood, so far have stayed out, I think, of any serious trouble, and they're fun to be around for the most part, and I've been really lucky.
Do you find it strange? Do you find it in any way poignant that the fact they're growing up, the family unit can't survive? Because that's something that is troubling me, and my youngest is 9, so I still have a few years, but I'm growing aware of the fact that as a family we only have a limited time left together, and that saddens me.
I find it incredibly haunting and depressing, actually. I see them now. My daughter's 15 and my son is 14, and you already see that they're taller than their mother, and they'd really rather be away every night. Not necessarily in crack houses at this point, but that really all of the times of, I remember people when we lived in France, people telling me that they didn't recognize me if I wasn't carrying my son on my shoulders. And yeah, I do find it worrying, but all you can...
Well, you're all right, Kay. You've got a little one. You've got years of this, mate. We're the guys. You're on the way. Come here, come here.
Bring him out.
John, come here, come here, come here. Come on, come on. It's okay. It's okay. You know? It's okay. Thank you, sir. I feel it too. It's a sad thing, isn't it?
It is a sad
It's a terrible thing.
It is a sad thing.
John, lovely to spend some time with you. I could spend all evening
My
with you
pleasure.
given the chance.
My
Thank you for
pleasure.
coming in. Not only a terrific actor, but what a lovely guest on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John Malkovich.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, John.
Had a
It was
lovely
fun.
experience. I enjoyed it.
It was really a pleasure. Good luck to you.
That's okay.